Group counseling is a really important area to have a good understanding of before you start any counseling exams. Today we're going to be covering two types of groups that exist: open and closed groups. We're going to cover what they are, how they function, and some pros and cons of each type. My name is Keegan. I recently graduated with a master's degree in counseling. I'm making videos like this to help you and others prepare for the NCE, the CPCE, or whatever counseling exam you have coming up. When it comes to studying for these exams, the more ways that you can interact with that information, from reading to listening to watching to writing notes, the better. And I say the more the better because the more ways that you can interact with it, the more likely it is to stick in your mind. So I hope that these videos help this information to stick in your mind a different way to help you on your upcoming exams. As we talk about closed and open groups, let's begin with closed groups and what they are. So a closed group doesn't let anybody join the group once it's started or once the deadline is passed. I think it's really helpful sometimes to connect these concepts to real life things. And whether you realize it or not, you probably have actually been part of a closed group, as most classes at the university level function in this way. Once the deadline for a class is passed, you're not able to join anymore. If you wanted to join halfway through this semester, there's a pretty solid chance the university is not going to allow that. Rosenthal talks about closed groups as having a closed door policy, meaning that people can leave the room, but they can't come back in through that door. The door is closed, so once the person is left, they can't re-enter and new people can't come back either. There are advantages to closed groups. For one, closed groups can better build trust. Not only trust, but the group often will build better relationships because the closed group means that new people aren't joining. Everyone's getting to know the same people week after week, or however often the group is meeting. Therefore, closed groups can have more connectedness and can build stronger relationships, which is where more of that trust will come in. And the unity between closed group members can be a very powerful piece of this type of group. However, there are also downsides to closed groups. One of the most relevant being that as people leave the group does not bring on new people. Instead, the group size is just dwindling as people leave or don't continue with the group. This means that theoretically, everyone could leave a group and the group would just be done. It wouldn't be able to go the full span that the group was intending to go because everyone would be gone. They wouldn't be coming back, and new members can't be added to a closed group. Open groups, on the other hand, allow members to come and go as they please. This means that if a group loses 6 members over a month, 6 new members can be added, or 6 new people can join the group at any point to rebuild those numbers. As a result, open groups tend to constantly be in flux, with membership constantly changing. Before we get into more of the pros and cons of open groups, if you're enjoying this video and taking away from it, please help me out by giving it a like and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future videos. Open groups tend to be more flexible, and as a result of this flexibility, they can often last longer than closed groups will. Not only that, but because open groups can add new members as other people leave, their membership tends to be more stable over time. They may lose some, then they may gain some, and overall it will be more stable across a period of time than a closed group would, which would only lose members and can't gain new ones. However, this flexibility in membership can be a disadvantage of open groups as well. This is primarily because group members can't build the same trust and relationships as they do in a closed group setting. As membership is changing and people are coming and going from the group in an open group setting, this can negatively impact the relationships that can be formed between group members, and one new person could theoretically throw off the trust or relationship that the open group has formed up to that point. Additionally, as new members join, they're not familiar with what the group has discussed in the past. This means that new members will have to be brought up to speed constantly on what the group has discussed, what things have been taken away from that discussion, if the new member has different things that they'd like to discuss as part of that, or what experiences the group has had with the whole and how that has affected people in the group. Another factor in open groups is that they often can't be as flexible as a closed group can. Because closed groups are targeted to one group of people that are not changing, they can be more structured and stable in that sense. However, open groups have to consider that new people are going to be joining as other people are leaving. If we think about examples of open and closed groups, we can think about Alcoholics Anonymous. In Alcoholics Anonymous, you'll be able to find examples of both open and closed groups. AA will host some open meetings where family, friends, or even students can join. In fact, this is something that I did. I went to an AA meeting as part of my addictions course and was able to join the group and listen in because it was an open meeting and anyone can join those. Alcoholics Anonymous also hosts closed meetings. And these meetings are only for the people who are struggling with an addiction to alcohol. Family, friends, students are not able to join these meetings. We talk about university classes typically using a closed group sort of structure. An example of an open group meeting that you may run into more often is something like a fitness class, where you maybe can join from week to week. You don't have to make it to every class every week, and you may be able to skip a week here or there, and it doesn't really matter. It's more flexible. That could be another example of an open group. So in summary, closed groups have a certain number of members that they're beginning with, and they're not going to add new members throughout the course of that group. As people leave, the group size becomes smaller in that closed group. Open groups, however, will fluctuate in membership. As people leave, more people may join, some more people may leave, and more people may join. Membership in open groups is going to be constantly changing. I hope this video on open and closed groups was helpful for you. Make sure that you check out my channel, as you'll be able to find a lot more content like this. And make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks so much for watching.